Hello guys, welcome to my corporate lessons. Have you ever noticed that in many IT projects, certain employees slowly start getting more responsibility? Did you notice that? They start leading discussions, interacting with clients, and eventually they become team leads. But the interesting question is, how do managers actually decide who will become a future team lead? So that is all about today's video. Over the years, while working on different projects, I noticed that managers don't randomly choose people for leadership roles. In fact, they start observing certain behaviors much earlier, sometimes even when employees don't even realize it. So I have identified a couple of points, so nearly 5 points. So that will be helpful for you if you are aiming for this role. Number one is the ownership. In one of my projects, I noticed there was a developer who would not just only complete his assigned task, but also he noticed a problem affecting the module, and he would try to understand the root causes and suggest the improvement. So over the time, the manager started involving him in the planning discussions. That is when I realized that managers pay attention to employees who show ownership, not just task completion. The second point is the communication. I also saw, another situation where a colleague had very strong technical skills, but he rarely explained his work clearly during the meetings. On the other hand, another team member constantly communicated his progress and issues very clearly. Eventually, when the manager needed someone to coordinate tasks between the team and the client, that person with better communication was chosen by the manager. So now you understood how communication plays an important role here. Now come to the third point, which is reliability. In some projects, deadlines become very tight. Managers quickly notice who can be trusted to deliver the work without constant supervision. For example, if an employee consistently finishes tasks on the time and handles the pressures well, manager naturally start relying on that person. Helping the team is the fourth point, right? I also observed that people who help others in the team often get noticed. In one of my previous projects, a developer regularly helped new team members understand the system. Even though it was not part of his official role, the manager noticed that behavior. And later, when the team structure changes, that person was given a leadership position. And the final point which I identified is the client interaction. In many IT projects, the client relationship is extremely important. Managers often observe who can communicate professionally with the client. Sometimes they start by giving small responsibilities like explaining updates during the client meetings. If someone handles that perfectly well, the manager may see them as a future leader. So, from these experiences, I realized something important, that is, managers usually identify future team leads by observing behavior like ownership, communication, reliability, teamwork, and client interaction. These patterns often appear long before someone officially becomes a team lead. So, if you are aiming to grow into leadership role in IT projects, focusing on these behaviors can make a big difference, because in many cases, leadership opportunities start with small observations that managers make during everyday project work. Okay? Hope you got the idea. So that is all for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye.